Sega.
Greetings lords and ladies, and welcome to episode 3 of the King's Council. Today we're showing you how water works in the game. Rivers and lakes are the lifelines of your realm. You need them to grow crops, trees, and if you want to catch fish. However, water should not be underestimated. If you start changing its course but don't plan ahead properly, you risk flooding your lands. In this episode, we'll tell you about the behavior of water, how to make use of it, and how to avoid floods. Water in the realm originates in one of the 3 water sources at the top of the map, like this one. From there, it flows through the realm until it eventually reaches the sea at the bottom of the map. The first thing to remember is that water will always flow downstream from higher to lower terrain. This means that if a water tile is next to a land tile of lower elevation, it will flow downwards, creating a waterfall. If all adjacent tiles are of the same terrain level, the water will fill these instead and create a lake until it can find another tile that is of lower height. Water is the lifeblood of your realm. It turns adjacent land tiles and the one next to them into fertile land. Fertile land is crucial for growing crops and trees, as they only propagate on fertile land by themselves. If a water tile is 2 or more terrain levels deep, it counts as deep water and has a chance to spawn fish, which you can catch for food using a harbour. Seawater at the bottom of the map will always be at very low terrain level. It turns adjacent tiles into sand, but the second row of tiles next to them turn into fertile land and can thus be used to grow crops or trees. If you place a dam in a river or lake, cutting off its access to the source, the water tiles beyond the dam will turn into wetlands. These count as fertile land until the next winter, so crops and trees can grow on them, but at a slower rate. You can alter the route of water as you see fit, create rivers to irrigate your crops and forests, or form lakes for your fishing grounds. You can also divert rivers to make room for pastures, a new town, or your mining operations. Ideally, the water will follow the route you set for it, but if its way gets blocked, it will find a different route. Remember, it will fill up adjacent tiles of the same elevation until it finds a lower one. For example, if you block a river with a dam and there is no secondary route for the water to escape, the water will gather behind the dam until the pressure gets too high and the dam bursts. The excess water will then flood the area beyond the dam and potentially cause a lot of damage. If you block its path with a landfill rather than a dam, the lake or river will fill up until it overflows, like a bathtub with a running tap. Water in the game does not update in real time, but rather every few minutes. This gives you a chance to react to what the water is doing and prevent possible floods. The bigger the water surface, the more excess water will build up before breaking point. Once a dam breaks or is removed, the excess water will fill the terrain beyond the dam. So if you want to avoid floods, make sure you create a riverbed or lake behind it, eventually leading to the sea. Another way to keep your town safe from floods is building walls around it. This will prevent water on the same terrain level from causing damage. If you decide to redirect the water because you want to fill up a lake, you might have to give the remaining water in the deep water tiles some space to spread out before you can build dams to drain them. Finally, the best time to change the landscape is winter. All water tiles except sea tiles will turn into ice, which you can easily break and remove. This gives you more time to change the terrain to your liking, and you won't have to use up your resources to build and fill up dams. And that's it for this episode. For more news, tips and tricks, and giveaways, don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. Until next time, keep it regal.